Today, I want to tell you guys a little story about my life that could very easily change your life. And although it's a hard story for me to tell, it holds inside of it one of the most valuable lessons I've ever learned. So growing up, I was a pretty shy guy and I lived a really average life. And for a long time, I genuinely believed that to attract girls, I had to be nice to them. And looking back on it, it is so funny because this couldn't have been further from the truth. So basically, for a while, I was that quiet guy that never really spoke up very much. And like most of you watching, I had many good friends and many good times with girls. And although I was never actually what you might call a player, like most of you, I played the game of life and I got average scores. And then as I got older, something inside of me snapped and I got tired of living an average life. And like most of you watching, I was never actually what people would consider to be a loser. But I started to become a loser based on my own expectations. And this was when I found out the truth about things like why nice guys finish last and better ways to make money and all kinds of other really cool things. And the moment that I started to learn these things, it was like I was living my entire life before that moment with a blindfold on. And it was truly a life-changing moment. So on one hand, I was super excited to learn about all this stuff that I make videos about for you guys. And on the other hand, I felt like a total loser because I also learned what was really possible and that I had been living my life going like 5 miles per hour when I should have been going 100. And to kick off my journey of self-improvement, I started to do one thing, just one simple thing, and it completely changed me as a person forever. And this is the one thing that broke me out of my shell, so to speak. And back then, if you would have told me that such a tiny change would have put me where I am today, I would have never believed you. And this tiny change is what I'm about to share with you, which could potentially forever change your life as well. Now, as mentioned earlier, growing up, the biggest problem that I had was being shy. And when you are a shy person, you don't say what you want to say, and you have trouble meeting new people, and life in general is just way harder than it needs to be. And shyness is like the polar opposite of confidence. So if you are shy, you're not confident. End of story. So at the end of the day, because I was shy, the biggest problem that I had was simply lacking confidence. And when you don't have confidence in yourself, you're missing the one thing that you need to truly be successful in anything. And like your typical nice guy, I was absolutely terrified about what other people would think of me anytime I opened my mouth. And the thought of another person not liking me was so overpowering that most of the time I chose to say nothing rather than risk being judged and not liked by other people. So what did I do? Looking back on it, it doesn't even seem real that all of my progress started with such a tiny little step. And what I started to do every single day without giving myself any excuses was say random things to random people without worrying about how they might react to what I said. And these were just little random contextual things, like a comment about how hot it was that day, or just whatever witty thing that popped into my mind at the time. And most of the time, these were just humorous, friendly things. And as I started to do this more and more often, I learned the most important lesson you could ever learn when it comes to improving yourself. And it is like the main thing that allowed me to unlock the hidden confidence within me that I never even knew that I had. And after I started to do this, some really odd things started to happen. At many points during my life growing up, one of my biggest fears that kept me from being me was that I would say something that would upset somebody and that they wouldn't like me for it. And as I started to say random things to random people everywhere that I went, I learned that pissing someone off really isn't that big of a deal. And if you say something that someone doesn't like or that makes you look dumb, the experience that you gain from doing so is priceless and it far outweighs the negatives. For example, just the other day I was at the casino and some guy had just won a big bonus on the game that he was playing. So naturally, as I walked by, I was like, wow, nice one. And you would think a normal, friendly person would say, yeah, thanks, or something along those lines. But instead, the guy just looked at me like I kicked his dog or something. And his reaction was the complete opposite of what I or most other people would have expected. So I looked at the girl that I was with and we just kind of laughed about it and then life went on. But back when I was shy, I would pretty much never do this. And these days, out of every 10 times or so that I do this, most people respond very positively and not like the guy in the casino. And if this was the only thing that you ever did to improve yourself, I can almost guarantee you that it would change your life forever and allow you to become 100 times the man that you currently are. Now, the reason why this works so incredibly well is because it allows you to stop caring what other people think. And the moment that you are able to say and do whatever you want without this handicap on, you will have quite literally found the secret key to the confidence that is hidden inside of you right now. What this teaches you to do is to simply be yourself and be comfortable in your own skin. And it allows you to take those ever so important, small, calculated risks that will land you a good girlfriend, a fulfilling career, good friends, and pretty much anything else that you could ever want from life. Now, obviously, when doing this, you only want to say things that are contextual or that make sense for the situation. So if something pops into your head that makes sense for that particular situation, just simply say it before you can convince yourself not to, and don't worry about the outcome. And it is this tiny little change that I made in my life that gave me the confidence to start this channel, so that one day I would be able to help millions of other guys go from living an average life to living a life that is far from average. And with that said, I love you guys, and until next time, thanks for watching.